Hey everybody, it's Chris and Will here, back with another weekly Beluga Pod. I think we're actually stuck to the weekly this time, so it's good. Things have been absolutely nuts the last few weeks, and so, thanks for tuning in, and we'll get to it pretty quickly, but there's a bunch of stuff to cover, and maybe, really quick, like high level. We've seen a great week for majors and also just an insane week for memes and things like that. So we'll definitely get into all of that. And it seems like today, at least if you're tuning in, things have gone south quite quickly, which also, again, really is speaks to the meme cycle at Wells. But so we'll get into it. Will and I are deep in it right now and both licking our wounds. But let's start with the majors. I mean, things have been going crazy in a very positive way. Let me pull up these charts. Maybe Will, you got any thoughts? I want to talk us through it.
Yeah, I mean, we continue to hit new highs on Bitcoin. It does not look like it has any intention of stopping anytime soon. I think I've seen just from I'm not even keeping an eye out for it, but just from what I've seen, probably 4 new companies, pretty sizable stature, who are now adding Bitcoin to their balance sheet. I think MetaPlanet from Japan was one of them.
Yep.
So It feels like Bitcoin is just not paying attention to any of the bad shit that's happening in the world. We had there's all that FUD over I guess Biden approved long range missile strikes on Russia. Normally things that would certainly negatively affect the price of Bitcoin and crypto entirely. But it is not, as you can see on this chart. We've basically gone only up. Yeah,
that's nuts. I usually get my nose okay, if Bitcoin nukes, I know some macro news going on.
But, exactly. No, there's no indication this time.
Jesus,
which is it's really just crazy. I mean, I think as we were talking about right before we started recording this, there's all this news coming out now, whether it's regulatory wise. We had Trump announce, or I guess rumors of Trump creating a crypto role within the government came out about an hour ago.
Yep.
We have all this news coming out that is bullish Bitcoin, right? We haven't really had at least blatant news that is bullish altcoins. And we've had news on the meme coin side now from social media and all of that. But it's really all been focused on Bitcoin, which I think, as we've been saying for the year we've been recording this podcast, this is how the cycles go. Bitcoin champions, people make a fuckload of money, and then it kind of trickles down. So I am I surprised to see most of the market down when Bitcoin is running this hard? Yes. But I also don't think that it's indicative of market weakness necessarily. This is just what we see. Yeah.
And it's also just the existing stuff on steroids, right? Like you said, usually BTC just runs on its own, right? You have Bitcoin strength, Bitcoin dominance, and then it rolls into alts once it's topped out a little bit and things start to pull back, and then ETH and the alts fly, Sol and alts fly or whatever, right? And this time you have the added effect of all of the, like you said, all of the macro news, all of the government stuff, all the Trump stuff, right? All of that is just compounding, so it makes BTC even stronger. And that's why we're BTC's just on a relentless tear. It just can't lose, while the rest of the market is spurts of just insanity, but also major pullbacks. I mean, just looking today, this shit is all fucking red, I mean, just everything except Maker, I guess, but just super red across the board. Crazy. Yeah. But that's how it goes.
Solana's still looking good, but that's basically it.
ETH has been a little bit suspect the last few. Hasn't quite broken out as much. Sol's nice though. I mean, Sol's looking pretty good. We broke out, and is this all-time highs? No, not quite yet.
No, I think all-time high was 260. Yeah,
260. Yep, right here.
But by market cap, I think yes.
Yeah. ETH here, we're not even. Yeah, we're not. We're much further away from all-time highs. But yeah, I mean, and let's say maybe ETH BTC down only for sure. I think Sol BTC is down only too, right? Or up only, excuse me. Sol ETH, I mean. Yep. Crazy. But, speaking of that, I mean, I think it's been a nutty week for a bunch of things. Maybe staying on the point of majors really quickly. I personally don't know a ton about what's going on with DevCon, and I wasn't paying. Our team was out there, and so I know kind of what's happening. I saw a ton of tweets of ETH Roadmap and people shitting on that at least. And honest to God, I didn't pay a ton of attention to it. But it felt like the takeaway. I remember the timeline chart that they showed. It was just a timeline on a screen, and it was basically to launch this new thing by 2029. And it was like a whole year of like, I think, evangelizing, and then another whole year of planning, and then scoping, and then finally you build for a year and you test for like another year and you get out. And I remember the ETH community was like, actually, when the tweets first came out, I think it was like classic ETH shills, like bullish as fuck on it, you know, and talking about it's good. And then very quickly it turned the other way. You know, people were just like, dude, it's going to take 4 years to ship basic update. And to be fair, maybe not a basic update, but it'd take 4 years to ship this shit. And they just got absolutely smoked. On Twitter after that. So yeah, I don't know. Will, do you know much about the Beam stuff, the Beam chain things that Justin was announcing?
I mean, no, honestly, I didn't really look into the presentation. I kind of saw the 12-year timeline and I was like, all right, you know, whatever. That's an absolute eternity in crypto. I mean, I've only been doing it for 6 years and I feel like it's been a lifetime. So I can't even imagine where things are 12 years down the line. It just seems odd to me. Like, I think the biggest problem ETH has had, like, you can point to all these fundamental reasons. Yeah, here it is. Yeah. Like, come on, guys. Are you serious?
Come on. That's a joke. You know, that's just ridiculous.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you can point to all these fundamental reasons, like people talk about expensive fees or that L2s are, you know, taking away some of the liquidity from the mainnet, which all kind of have varying credibility, I think. But the single biggest issue that ETH has is marketing. The branding is awful. 100%. We have nobody from the foundation who can actually interact with crypto people whatsoever. And especially when you compare it to the way that the Solana Foundation conducts itself. I mean, we have
100%.
Tolly has shilled how many rugs this year? Which, like, look, you can mark that against him, but like he is actively engaging with new stuff that's popping up on the chain, and I think that contributes quite a bit to how the public perceives it. Versus, you know, Vitalik basically only publicly speaks if it's some ridiculous white paper that nobody's going to read, or if the foundation is selling ETH, which, you know, both of those things don't contribute to a positive public image of you. So I don't know if the answer is just hire a marketing team, maybe, like that can't hurt. But please, like, enough with these 12-year roadmaps. Like, nobody cares. Hopefully you don't even need to release something in the next year. Yeah, like, just don't say that your plan is over 12
I agree.
years.
I think saying nothing would have been much better.
Say nothing. Yeah.
I even think just saying we're going to have a plan in the next year would have been better than this, you know?
Yeah.
So even if it's the same bullshit, you know, where you're saying you're going to take a whole year to pill people, you know, even just saying that, you say this is just insanely bearish. Just you look incredibly out of touch, out of date, right? You look like,
that's what, you know, it's out of touch. I think that's how the whole foundation has been. Like this last, I'm the biggest ETH bull ever, and like this hasn't diminished any of that, but I can't argue with the fact that the price action is likely mostly due to how horribly the foundation communicates with the outside world.
Yep, totally. And until they fix that bearish. Now, look, the Ethereum Foundation was sort of making waves not that long ago for dumping a bunch of ETH tokens, you know, and so hopefully they use those gains to hire some marketing people, you know, and get this together. But it's unlikely. I mean, that's the trade-off too, you know, where a more central, like Solana is just more centralized in everything, you know, where they have a more centralized team. They've got a more, it's more like a company, whereas ETH is a bunch of it feels just like a bunch of open source developers doing their thing, right? And they both have the same feel. One is slow, messy, disorganized, and that's a strength in it too, but it's also an incredible weakness against someone that's just running hard at it, reply guying. They can just say crazy shit. You've got a bunch of fanboys that are just rolling hard on it, and like, you know, they've done a good job. I mean, like, again, this is Solana published this after as their roadmap, you know? And it's like pretty fucking based of them, you know. Like
there's no details, no information on how it's happening, no timelines, no promises, and everybody loves it. Like this is what people want. 100%. Whether that's a good thing or not. I mean, I won't take a side, but it's just what people like.
Exactly. I mean, it very much feels to me like product versus engine, not to like put those two things together, but like if you look at this to me is an engineering roadmap, which is like super conservative, right? It's very, very slow. There's all time for all kinds of bullshit. You're not selling anything. You're actually giving an estimate and a super, in my opinion, sandbagged estimate on what's just going to be classic end shit, you know? And then this is to me is a product roadmap, which is like, you know, there's zero details. It doesn't say anything actually, you know, it's actually really obvious and it's clear and it's clean and it's very straightforward and you can understand it even if it says nothing, right? And that's actually the beauty of it, right? So I think that's probably the difference, right? ETH is like a bunch of giga brains doing, you know, cool end shit, and Sol is just like they're more focused on the experience, more focused on the product, more focused on the ecosystem, and like it's done really well for them. So we can't even knock it. You know, Sol's absolutely rip it, you know, and ETH is still struggling to break 3K, you know, and to really hold well over 35. So. You know, we'll see it. Maybe, I mean, on that note, like, so we can talk about what's happening on Sol, you know, and like what's going on. I mean, look, it's very simple. It's a fucking million shitters, and it's every random meta and random narrative going on. I mean, last week we talked about the things that really kickstarted that world, which is GOAT, right? You had PNUT, ACT, right? It started off with sort of the AI meta, right? Of these AI tokens here, right? It's gone just insane. I mean, despite today's nuke, still just a great chart overall. And then you had PNUT and ACT that went out. PNUT, obviously, shout out to the squirrel that got murdered by the New York.
Rest in peace.
Exactly, and God bless him. He gave us a solid 2 weeks, you know. So PNUT went out and got listed by Binance, and that really sparked things off, especially across ACT as well. And from there, we've just seen insane stuff happening. I mean, I think the last week it was really. I think you tell me what it was. I mean, I've been kind of involved, but not as much. It feels like the AI story went nuclear, right? And we really had a bunch of new AI tokens come out as a result. I mean, this is the one I followed the most of the time, Zerbro, which you saw just like, you know, out here. I mean, this chart is just, I mean, sure,
crazy,
but it's also just insane. And like real liquidity, big price, you know, and just like a great story. And like, I remember seeing people sell into it and it just would not go down. You know, it's a 10,000% gain in just a couple days, you know? So I don't know. So I felt like these types of things, I don't know, Will, was there anything else you were tracking or anything worth noting on the AI stuff?
Well, yeah, I just think AI, I think basically every AI token of like the big ones that I was keeping track of is down over 25% today. And the reason for that is one, of course, like TikTok Meta, which we can talk more about after this, is sucking liquidity out. Whenever you get a coin that runs from 0 to 500 million in literally like 4 days, it's going to suck liquidity out of other coins. But they also had, I don't know if you saw the drama around ELIZA and AI16Z.
I saw it, but I actually don't know what the hell's going on.
Yeah, so basically the story was AI16Z is kind of, I don't know where they're at now, but it was one of the, if not the pioneering kind of AI agent token. Yeah, so it's still at 150.
Tanked hard, holy cow.
Yeah, so basically the story behind this is the developers behind it, Shah was like, I think the main guy who was wrapped up in this controversy, so he's the name I remember. They developed this protocol called ELIZA, which basically could then be used by other people to create different agents. And it's become the backbone of basically all the big agent tokens that are out right now. You could argue about whether or not they're agents, like who knows, but that's not important. The controversy was that the AI16Z token that we see, I believe this one, or maybe it was, sorry, I think it was an ELIZA token that was launched.
There's two of them
to support to be around kind of the ELIZA. Yeah. So this was it. So there was an ELIZA that was launched, I think maybe a week or two ago, and it ran. It was not launched by the main AI16Z team. However, they endorsed it as the main token for ELIZA. Then like 2 days ago, Shah makes a tweet that, oh, actually, this is not our token. We're going to make another one with the same name, which, of course, they bundled the crap out of. I believe they sold a total of like $16 million worth of tokens on people's heads. And so that, I mean, really just crushed AI meta in general when the main figurehead of the meta at the time basically showed his hand to just be a scammer. So that's why these are all getting wrecked now. I don't know. I don't think like AI meta is going away just because it's what everybody talks about in real life too. But I think we'll probably not see some of these ones come back. We'll see.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it was just a nutty week for AI tokens in general. Chaos was one that really had a great showing as well. I think I'm still back holding here. Chaos is one. I think, what is it? Project 89 is another one. I don't forget a few of these, to be honest. But yeah, you can see they're all just down bad today. Had a great run up, major nuke back down here. Yeah. So I mean, really, a bunch of stuff, but it's been pretty nuts. But like I think, like Will said, the TikTok meta really came up yesterday. And what was it? Is it ChillGuy? Is that the one that everyone's ripping?
Is the main one? Yeah.
ChillGuy here. And this has gone nuclear too. I mean, it's really corrected, but still has some strength, honestly. It's still doing pretty well, relatively speaking. Looking good. I don't know the story.
Pair created 4 days and 23 hours ago, and it's currently at $375 million in market cap. Like, it's crazy how fast these things are moving. And it's really just because, I mean, look, meme coins have always been attention driven. It's just about what specific narrative people are ascribing attention to. Yep. And I don't use TikTok. I don't have a TikTok, so I had never seen this character, but I guess he is all over TikTok right now. And so, people were so the big narrative right now is that, all these TikTok coins are what the normies are buying. I don't think that's true. Like, I think it's just us all buying them once again, which is why you see every other coin in the market getting nuked today, because it's not new money. It's just people selling their old coins to buy this new coin. I can't see this narrative lasting much longer as it is.
I don't think so either.
Because again, it's not new money. Like, look, you can look at, I know Moonshot set yet another on-ramping record this week, but it's not nearly enough capital to be pumping coins like this. So probably 90+% of it is just liquidity that was already in crypto.
100%.
So it's mercenary capital. You got to stay on your feet.
Yep. These definitely.
This was so good. I didn't even buy the token. Really I just appreciate the story behind it.
Oh God, yeah, we got to talk about this a little bit. I mean, this dude is just insane. I mean, maybe I know it tangentially, but I don't even know the whole thing, to be honest.
Yeah, I was watching it. So this kid who has launched, I think, multiple coins over the last month or two and rugged them while streaming himself, launches this coin. He's streaming himself. People start piling into it. Runs to I think 2 mil market cap or something. And he freaks out. He looks like he's like 8 or 9 or something. Yeah. He freaks out, and you can see it. I wish we had we could share the clip somehow, but I know it'll look choppy on the pod. If anybody's interested, I'm sure you can find it on Twitter. But the kid's giggling as he goes to press the sell button on his whole. Yeah. Here it is. Let's just watch this. It's so good. So there he sells. He nukes 30K worth of his tokens. Everybody's what the fuck? And then it proceeds to run to 75 mil market cap. I think his coins would have been worth tens of millions of dollars at the top. And of course, in true crypto fashion, since he rugged, you had people doxing his address. There were coins made after all of his family members.
Yeah, there's a bunch of tokens for his family.
and this video has gone totally viral, all over TikTok and everything. It was insane,
man. And this,
now, for better or worse, an entire generation of brain rot TikTokers has just seen some kid pull 30K out of his ass. That's probably pretty good marketing for meme coins. So
yeah, totally. So Yeah, I mean, that's what's going on right now. We've just really lost the plot here, as always. And things have gone absolutely ridiculous. But I will say, I feel like it's always funny how these things happen because, like, I mean, you and I have been doing this for a while now, right? And like, I feel like for months on end, there's just fucking nothing to talk about, and just like absolute dog shit. And then in 1 week, not even a week, I really feel like it was 5 days or 4 days. Like, there's just been so much going on, and it's absolutely hilarious. And it's just one of those moments where, like, it's hard to even leave the screen. It's just too hilarious what's going on. And it's one of those moments where everyone is turning $1,000 turning into $100,000, and just making insane amounts of money. And it's impossible to leave, So this is both the like side of crypto that's not great, to be honest, but also the part that's hilarious and the part that I like, too, at the same time. So it's hard to reconcile both those ideas. But this is where we are in the cycle. I mean, maybe zooming out, Will, where do you think we are in this whole thing? It's been a weird cycle for sure, right? In general. And we've come up in it again, and it feels a little bit like last year where it's a bit more nihilistic, right? We haven't really quite hit the alts yet. It's been straight. We had BTC and then straight to memes again, Where do you think we are? Where do you think we go from here? We've seen a huge correction today for basically almost all alts, or all memes, really, right? In particular, you're looking at 30-40% down for most things. Alts are down 5-10%. Everything's down. BTC's up a little bit, but like everything seems to be treading water now. And just like, is it over? Did we miss it already? Are we going to come back for another run, or things moving elsewhere? What do you think's going on?
Yeah, I think memes are probably going to lie low for a little bit. I think what we've seen in the last 2 weeks has been absolutely ridiculous. I guess the kind of counter argument to that, which I've seen a couple of traders that I respect talking about on Twitter, is if this really is like DeFi summer, which is kind of the period before or heading into the bull cycle last time around, where it was, what was it, 3 months, 4 months of just like absolute ridiculous bullshit.
Insanity. Yep.
If that's true, and this is kind of this cycle's version of that, then we've probably got another couple months. I just don't know where I stand. I think
I'm more pissed at myself that I didn't take more off the table before this big dump, because like it just felt like the top signals were so obvious. But yeah, I don't think it's over. I think memes probably relax for a little bit. And I still fully believe that we'll get an alt rotation pretty soon. It's impossible to predict. Who knows when it's going to happen? But I've seen some very encouraging price action in some of the stuff that I own that we have in the Beluga wallet, which is always exciting. I just don't know when it'll kick in. I don't think, as long as Bitcoin is like championing everything, I probably don't expect to see altcoin movements. But who knows? I don't know. We're in a really weird, it feels weird. There's just liquidity flying around everywhere at such a rapid pace. It's hard to predict. What about you? What do you think?
Nice. I'm just checking out this Beluga wall. It's pretty cool. I always like to watch this. Yeah, I'm with you. I'm probably more like nihilistic about it than you, which is I think we have time. I think we still have yet to see the peak, and I don't even think we're close to it. I think we have time. I do think this is the DeFi summer of it, right? I think the news is just trickling out now that shitters are a place to make money again for the normies. My texts are coming back pretty quickly, like that. Like you always tell, Coinbase is still not the top of the charts yet, right? Moonshot still is not. I think this is an easier on ramp than classic crypto, right? Than aping into DeFi tokens or whatever it might be, or L1s or whatever, right? This is an easier on-ramp. It's more straightforward to understand. It's more addictive, right? You have more of that feel to it. And look, we're about to hit the holiday season, which, I usually think we dump into it because we'll take profits because they don't want to like have to sit here in baby positions while they're eating dinner with their families and shit. But that's always a great time to chill. and you can always count on the degens to go there, regardless of whether the real P&L is different, what's going on. But everyone's going to go and talk about how much money they thought they made, or whatever, right? And I do think enough time has passed where I think if you did that last year, like, it's just a scam, it's going to people are going to be like, oh shit, maybe like it might be worth it, because there's enough change that's happened with the market where you're talking about Trump, you're talking about BTC. We're like, okay, this is structurally different. I got to at least look into it. And a portion of those people may come for BTC, but a portion at least will get sucked into the shitters, right? Because it's just an easy on ramp. And I think we get back into that, especially with things like Photon and Moonshot, right? Things that are like mobile, and they like it's just easier this time to get on ramped into this stuff. And so I think we have Thanksgiving, like we probably cool off a little bit right now. If you haven't taken profits, probably I would just keep it for you. Probably fucked already, so just I wouldn't dump at the lows. Just let it go to zero. But we probably cool off now. I think we come back after Thanksgiving and get a nice like exit pump towards the end of the year. And then cool off again, and in January hit it hard again. And we'll see where things shake out. And maybe this is cope because I did sell a bunch. I'm still holding a bunch of stupid tokens, but I do think that we still go upwards from here, and I'm still positive that I think we have one more. We've got one more left in. It's that Vince, he's like, I got one more in me. I think we got one more for this. I think we got one more for this year at least. But and if we get blessed by it, don't forget the lessons that we've learned today, at least, that these things can draw down 50% in a single day, despite being insanely bullish for 3 days. It's always funny to hear people do TA on shitcoin charts, do technical analysis and here's a support line. Here's like, dude, there's no support at all. What are you talking about? It's like 17 people that hold this token, 16 of which are insiders, and you're the one idiot still holding. So there's nothing going on here. Okay. So just get out. So I'm still bullish. I think we still have time. I don't think we've even seen Mania yet. This feels a little bit like it, but I mean, you remember, and I'm sure you like anyone who has been in crypto remembers real Mania, and that was with harder to understand things. This Mania is not here yet. And I think we've got,
I definitely have some bear PTSD. Like I'll caveat my statement about, like, I still, the last 2 years sucked. So like, I just, being careful. More careful this time around.
And look, this could just be cope. I could just be, refusing to believe the truth, so we'll see. But anyway, it's a good time at least. At least it's hilarious again, and I think this action,
it's fun.
Price action is always good. Totally. Yeah. It's definitely fun. Whether we're making money is
usually a really good sign for the market. So
100%. So I think we sit and we see where it goes. But, I think that's it for this week, at least. It's been a lot. I would say, we'll see what happens next week as we roll into Thanksgiving. But, we'll keep our eyes on the market for you guys. So,
yes, sir.
All right. Thanks for coming by, everybody. We'll catch you guys next week.